Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Tea with Richard. This is past Richard talking to you because I'm on my daily exercise at the moment, and I thought I'd show you a few of the different things that we can see in my local area during this episode of Tea with Richard. So at the moment, I'm here underneath these lovely flowering cherry trees in my nearby park, and they are looking stunning at this time of year. So during this episode, you'll be joining me for different little bits of today's walk and also bits in the studio. So without further ado, I'm going to go over to future Richard, who'll speak to you from the studio. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Durham. We're live. It's just gone midday, and it's time for another episode of Tea with Richard. I have my tea, and today's main feature is from earlier this morning, which is me taking a little bit of a walk around our local area. But first, I've got a few little news points that I want to share with you. As always, I'm going to have the scroll bar across the bottom of the screen, which will be appearing in a couple of seconds, which contains information on if you're in County Durham or if you're a County Durham resident, how to get assistance. And as always, if you're in other areas, contact your local authority, as they're probably in the best place to be able to help you at the moment. Also, this post on the Money Saving Expert website was brought to my attention today. Sorry for the horrible URL there. It's the only way I can get it to fit on the screen is by using a URL shortener. However, if you use that link, and I'll put it in the description of the video at the end as well, you'll get to a blog by Money Saving Experts researchers, which is giving you tips and tricks to how to get groceries if you're struggling. So it tells you when the online slots for delivery are open for various stores and what other options are available if you're struggling to order meals or find out availability online. So that's just a little post for people who are, a bit of advice for people who are struggling to order groceries and things. So without further ado, it's time now to head back to the main event, which is to me, in the past, on my walk. Hope you enjoy it. Hello everyone, and welcome to the main section of my walk down this old footpath between the school fields and the new housing estate on the High Grange. I say new, it's been here longer than I've been. And what we're going to do today, and obviously I'm not going to be able to check this video until it goes live, so we'll find out how well it goes. But I'm going to show you a few of the trees and a few of the plants that are very visible around my footpath as I go on my walk. So I'm going to start off with this quite common plant here. Spiky branches and small green leaves that tend to turn to red into autumn. This is of course a hawthorn, and this little version here isn't in blossom at the moment, but sometimes you'll see it with white blossom at this time of year. So what we're doing is we're just going to walk along this footpath. I'm going to pick out a few trees that I know and maybe a few that I don't as we go along. For instance, we've got this one here with quite large green leaves, sort of rounded shape, and this is a beech tree. And one indication that helps me know that this is a beech tree is of course the presence of beech mast, the seeds of the tree just underneath it, left over from autumn. So this is the footpath that I'm going to be walking along, and we've got a little sparrow and a robin there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, fluttering around in the path. But this is the footpath I'm going to be walking on. It's quite a short walk, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. Here we've got another tree. I think this one is a sycamore, but I'm bound to be proved wrong in the comments. So you're joining me now as I walk down this walkway, and you might spot chalked onto the path that one of the local residents has done a little trail. This one's a little robin that's hopped along here. There's the access to the old school fields, and carrying on we have another flowering cherry just above my head.
The prettiest part of the walk is towards the far end. So, but as I'm walking along, the whole thing, it's just nice to be able to be in the outdoors and having an enjoyable time. Also, I'm sorry about any slightly shaky camera work here. Got a little wildflower here coming into flower. Not sure what this one is, but there's quite a lot of it around. And also, if we sneak down here and look through the fence surrounded by litter, you can just see some of the bluebells coming out into bloom. Here, there's some down here as well. But apologies for any shaky camera work here. I don't have a steady cam. I'm just using a mobile phone and holding it in front of me as I walk along. So we have some bluebells, there's some more bluebells there in the undergrowth. Here's another bush, I'm not sure what it is. It could be an elder, it's got black berries and quite waxy leaves. But yes, it's a lovely little walk. It's amazing when you start looking just how much in the way of colourful flowers you can see at this time of the year. Now, part of the reason I'm sharing this walk with you is because some people are in extreme isolation and aren't able at the moment to go out on walks like this. And I thought it would be nice to share a little bit of what's going on outside for those people so that they can see the world as they're going around. We've got some trees covered with ivy in the back here of this footpath. So as we walk along here, I hope you're enjoying this footage. As I say, I'm not going to be able to see what this looks like until after I get back to the studio, by which time I'll have done my daily exercise for the day, so won't be able to do any retakes. So I hope this is looking nice. Now we're coming to my favourite stretch of the walk. I'm just going to stop you here because we've got a bird of prey hovering just above us. I think it might be a kestrel. I don't know if you can see that, but I think we've got a kestrel there. Now this section of my walk, as I say, is one of my favourites because there's so many different colourful plants, and there's also, here's another sparrow sitting on a tree just there. There's also a lovely group of wood pigeons that live in the trees around here. So if you hear the clattering of birds' wings, that'll be what it is. We've got some little pink flowers here. I'm not entirely sure what they are. But, and we've got all these little blue flowers which might be forget-me-nots, and I'm not sure whether this is wild garlic, but someone again in the comments will be able to tell me, in the hedgerow along here. Now listen out in a couple of minutes because you'll probably hear the wood pigeons take off, because I'm just passing underneath the tree there they normally perch in, just over on the left hand side here. And we've got a few more little bluebells just there. Now the other part of my walk which we're coming up to in a minute, is a road that I like to call Rainbow Road, because a lot of people have put pictures of rainbows in their windows for the NHS and key workers, and hopefully we'll be able to see a few of those. But I think I'm going to do that as a little photo montage after the video, so I'm not recording people's front doors, because that doesn't sound very nice. But I told you Mr. Pigeon would come and say hello. There he is. There we are, one wood pigeon just above my head as we walk down this path. Just the zoom. Obviously if someone else comes along I will be cutting the video, but I don't think there will be at this time of day. Got a few more white flowers back there, and this sort of carpet of blue trailing along, which is fantastic. And we've got a few more cherry trees in the hedgerow, and yep, that's a blackbird just flying off out of the way. So let's just do a reverse angle shot. There are the two pigeons in the tree as I walk down this section. And here, I mentioned hawthorn earlier on, here's the blossom starting to come out on the hawthorn. There's an old Yorkshire saying, "Nay, cast a clout till May is out," Well, we're not quite in May yet. This is the 29th of April, but the May blossom is starting to come out, so it might be right on time this year. But we still have definitely lots of cherry blossom for you to look at today. The final little bit of this walk is that one of the local residents has planted a flower bed towards the end of the footpath as I go through this gate here. Apparently people on YouTube like a good gate shot, so there you are, there's a gate. And if you look down here, we've got tulips and primulas, a cornflower and some primroses. And once we get to the end of this, I'm going to cut back. Some rosemary there growing, look. I'm going to cut back to the studio for thought for the day, reflection time, and then you'll be back to finish off with the photo montage of the NHS rainbows. So this is past Richard coming to the end of this little footpath, and I'll be heading back to join future Richard, or present day Richard to you, back in the studio. And here is the end of the footpath. So just look, there we are, they've got the rainbow on the ground there. So thank you very much everyone for joining me, and I'll head back to future Richard in the studio. I'll show you the photo montage at the end. Bye everyone.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the studio and back to being live here in Durham. And as past me said, it is now time for reflection. And today's reflection time is going to have two sides to it. The first one is that you saw that I was taking a walk today. And it's really important to get your daily exercise. And even if you're stuck indoors, please remember that you can still exercise. If you're at a desk like I am most of the time, just remember to stop working periodically, stand up and stretch out, stretch your muscles, maybe even a little bit of light exercise on the spot, stretching, maybe a bit of jogging on the spot, just to keep your blood flowing, because it's important for your self-care that you keep yourself active and you don't spend all your time sitting down. So once this video is over, why not stand up, walk around your house, do a few stretches, get a little bit of exercise, because it will help you in the long run. So today's reflection time isn't a sit down and meditate and think type reflection time. It's actually a get up and do something, and that's doing something for yourself, trying to be active. Even if you're stuck indoors, remember to regularly move and stretch. And before I go back to the photo montage that Pastor Richard spoke about, I just want to say a few words to some people who have had significant events happen in the past month. Now, tomorrow, as you're probably aware if you follow the news, is the birthday of Captain Tom Moore. And there's going to be a fly past for him. It's his 100th birthday, and I suspect there'll be a lot of people on the media celebrating his birthday. But I'd also like to mention in this video other people. I know a lot of my friends fit into this category who've had birthdays during lockdown. And as we get to the end of this month, I just want to say happy birthday to anybody who's had a birthday during lockdown. And also, forgive me for being personal for a moment, a special message to someone who I know is watching, who's my dad. It's his birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday, Dad. You'll be getting an email from me in the morning. Keep an eye out for it. So that's just a special message for my dad, and just a happy birthday. It's Tom Moore's birthday tomorrow, but we can use this to celebrate everybody's birthdays who've had a birthday in the month of April, which is quite a large number of people. So that's just a little message from me to say happy birthday to anybody with a birthday in April who's had to have it during lockdown this year. Hopefully by next April, you will be all out and be able to celebrate birthdays properly. So now that's done, I'm going to head back to my photographs from my walk earlier, a montage of the rainbows that people have put out for the NHS. these pictures of rainbows that people have been putting in their windows. This is just a reminder that every week now on a Thursday, there has been a round of applause for NHS and critical care workers. So I'll be getting involved with that. As you may remember, back in week 1 of this, we did a live stream during the applause. That was probably the quietest applause I've heard in Durham when we did the live stream. But every week it's got louder and louder. So if you are able to, remember that tomorrow night there is the applause for key workers. And unfortunately, I'm now aware that some of our key workers have lost their lives during the fight against the COVID pandemic. So this montage is also for those people who have been outside and been contributing their lives to us and helping us all get through this. I think we lost some of the latter images from that collection, so I'll make sure that those ones are included at some other point, perhaps on Friday's video. Talking of which, Friday's video, as always, will feature a Your Corner selection. However, unfortunately, I currently have no submissions to Your Corner for Friday's show. So if you've been doing something creative and crafty, maybe baking, maybe cooking, maybe making something, or have something, a story, a poem, some music that you want to share with all our viewers, please do get in touch by email. My email address is at the bottom of the screen. It's t@mallard-days.com if you want to share that. Also, if you want to see any of our previous episodes, you can visit mallard-days.com/t. That's also at the bottom here. And remember, if you want to get updated, click the subscribe button and click the bell next to it to put some little ears on it. That means it's going to ring and send you an alert to your inbox every time I go live. So that's it for Tea with Richard today. I've finished my cup of tea. I don't know about you, but as always, please remember that when you finish your cup of tea, you do still need to wash your hands. It's really important to stop the spread of this virus. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you on Friday. Have a good afternoon, folks.